Authenticity is simply being the same person off camera as you are on camera.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're looking for a
Perfect.
simple definition. So, how
Yeah.
you are at the dinner table, in the carpool line, road raging on 95.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford. And this is We're Doing This Right, right? A podcast for the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in. Hello, Doing It Writers. How's all the Doing It Right people?
We're doing it okay. My kids are still not in school, and so here I am in my dining room just frickin' winging it.
Praying, hoping.
Because my nanny went back to work, which is a school, and I'm like, cool, I guess I'll just figure it out. So,
disclaimer, my children are also here. They are with a nanny, but God only knows what will happen. So here we go.
Here we go. But we have an amazing guest, and we're so excited.
We're not alone. We have Kat Torre here. Kat is a consulting brand director, speaker, and founder of The Brand Architect, a transformation studio guiding visionary leaders through brand evolution and magnetic messaging. She's the head of coach training and content at Ryan Serhant's Sell It, featured in Forbes, and the host of two acclaimed podcasts, Your Life Rebranded and Not Nice, Clever. Hi, Not Nice, but Clever. I love that.
Thank you.
It's
a vibe.
Welcome to the party.
Thanks, ladies. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, this is so exciting.
You've got your next question lined up. I know what it is.
She was like already leaning in. I love it.
Oh, I don't know. I lost it. Wow, you really
it's always.
Okay. You're right. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I was like, am I going off script? What's happening? Okay, so my question is always, okay, you gave us we have the 2-second bio, but tell us who you really are and tell us what you're passionate about. Because you and I had the conversation beforehand, and I feel like I could talk to you for like a billion hours, and we only have an hour to talk to you. So, so just jump right in. And also, I didn't know the Ryan Serhant thing. So tell us also about that. So you've got a lot going on, and I love that.
I do. In true Gemini fashion, I like to have a lot of things going on. It keeps me engaged. I hate to be bored, which I think primed me to become an entrepreneur before I even realized that was a word. Beyond the bio, off paper, I'm just really passionate about helping remind people who they are and all the amazingness that they have within them.
Love that.
You know, my clients are incredible and successful, but I'm just a small part of that. It's really just reminding them and removing friction and hyping them up and reminding them that everything is an inside job in life.
And expand on that. What do you mean by everything's an inside job? Tell me
more.
So
love is an inside job. If you want love in your life, you need to love yourself first. Love all the parts of you, the shadow parts, the light parts. If you want to be great in sales, you got to be able to sell yourself on yourself first before anybody will be sold on you. Confidence is an inside job. Basically everything. Communication is an inside job. And so I think it's really empowering that message because we can only control what we can control, and we can most absolutely control ourselves. And if we can control ourselves and dictate our outcomes by, looking at our self-talk and looking at our habits and looking at just the goals we set for ourselves and how we operate in our day-to-day, we start to see a lot of amazing things happen around us, and it all just kind of clicks and falls into place.
Okay, well, I just fell in love.
Yeah, I also love this idea of, God, man, so I have a team that I'm building, and there's somebody in particular that I want to help them with their confidence. But when you're like confidence and this idea about sales, being able to like sell yourself on yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't say that very eloquently, but like that's key. Like that's insane. Like that little soundbite is insane as far as a concept. So like, how do you help people with that? Because I feel like Cheryl and I like were these people, and obviously you are too, where you're just like, yeah, man, like obviously I can do this. Like Cheryl and I, it's one of our first episodes.
We'll figure it out, right?
Yeah, it was our extreme confidence for like no reason. Like we have the confidence of like a mediocre white male just out
The
the gate,
audacity.
right?
I love that.
Like,
I love that so
yes.
much.
But how do you teach that? How do you teach, or how do you help that or uncover that? Because I don't think you can teach it. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, so I think that you can model it. That's why I only ever teach on things or guide or mentor or coach on things that I myself have tried and done. It's one of the reasons I really respect leaders like Ryan Serhant. He practices what he preaches. If you practice what you preach, regardless of what level of a company you're at, C-suite, senior manager, team lead, assistant, practicing what you preach gives you a lot of confidence, because if you can make a promise, let's say the promise for one of your team agents is that they're going to make a certain amount of outreaches to their database each week. And at the end of the week, they say, hey, Kat, at the beginning of the week, you made the promise to yourself you were going to reach out to 100 people. Did you keep that promise? And I love
Dude,
the word
love that.
promise instead of goal, because it's so much more personal. And you ladies are both mothers. I am a stepmother, and will eventually, one day soon have a child of my own. When you break a promise to your kids, do they ever let you forget about it? Like,
No,
Hell no.
never.
never.
And also,
No,
if you
and
just
even
never.
they fabricate promises I didn't make that they
Well,
just
there's
decided
also
I
that.
should
That's
have made for
creativity. We
them.
like that, but not used in this way. Right?
I was going to say, if I say something once, it becomes a promise, and I didn't even know that I was promising the thing.
Right.
So
It's like this thing. So it's like this sacred thing. So if you make a promise to yourself, keep that promise. Hey, Kat, you made a promise you were going to make 100 outreaches, whether it's a DM, a text, a call, however it might be, a pop by, and you kept that promise. And in fact, you actually made 104, outreaches. So you over delivered on promising on what you promised yourself. And I find that it's really easy to start to nurture the seeds of confidence in somebody, saying, hey, you said you were going to do something and you did it and you showed up for yourself. So if you can do that, you can certainly do it for somebody else. And just start to show that there's evidence that they are doing what they're saying that they're going to do. And then from the action that they take and the momentum that's created, confidence is a byproduct. You can't wait to be confident. Confident comes after the fact.
You earn the confidence by showing up for yourself.
You do.
So I just recently saw something. I'm going to steal something on Instagram, but if somebody followed you around all day every day, would they believe the goals you set for yourself? Would they believe that you have those goals or not? And I do want to say, I think that's a seasonal thing. And there's so many graphics that are everywhere, but like showing up at 100% every single day is not possible.
No.
Like, it's just not. We don't have it in us. But showing up every day at wherever you can show up is great. And then just showing up consistently is where you're going to get to the end. So like every day, do I finish everything on my checklist, or do I use my checklist in the way I want to? Or, no, I don't. But as a general rule, I'm always going back to that. I'm starting again. And if you're never starting over, if you consistently are working towards something, you just are digging back in, and you're a little bit further than you were when you started. I mean, it's Sky's thing. So I met Kat on Sky Michael's Happier Human, and he's really big on this 1% better every day. Yeah. And I love the people that get hung up on the math of that. Colleen, are you one of those people that like you can't get 1% better every day because you run out of room to get 1% better?
I do. I have said that, but I'm also just like, but like every day I'm working to get better. I just think that percentage thing is kind of I get the idea, but like in my brain, I'm like, so after 100 days, what, I'm set? But I get it. I get the
it's compounded interest. You get 1% better off of where you were yesterday.
Sure.
And then it gets bigger and bigger. It's compounded. You're in real estate.
But then you can never get there. Just kidding. Okay, we're going off track. Anyway. No, I love it. I think this idea of like holding people accountable to be accountable to themselves is really an interesting concept, especially as a leader. Is like, I can't, and this is something that I run into, and we're kind of just talking about this on a call we were just on, is like, I can't want it more than they do. Right? Like, and I think this happens in leadership, at least with some leaders who care, who want them to do better, right? Like, I can't want you to be more confident more than you want to be more confident. I can't want you to do better in your sales more than you want to do better in your sales. I love this idea of being able to put it on them. Like, it is their, one of my 11 principles for my team is that you are the CEO of your own business always. And it is your responsibility to
Run
work
your
your
business.
business.
Yeah.
Work your business, right? But also work your life too, right? Like, I think those things are important. Like, if you're stressed out or you're, not making it to the gym, and you keep breaking your promise, like I put it on my calendar every single day, and then that was fucking dumb, because it was a promise that I kept breaking to myself, right?
Right.
Kat, I see one of your things you're passionate about is aligning personal values for professional growth. And so we're
Yes.
kind of touching on that here, but I'd love for you to
Yeah.
expand on that and how you came there and how you're living that.
Yes. So I have a book recommendation for everybody in this amazing Doing It Writer community. It's called The Death of Demographics by David Allison. Check it
Whoa.
out. David is a friend and has become a mentor. The work he does on studying not the demographics of populations and people, but the value graphics. What do people value in different
Whoa.
states, different countries, across different continents, across different cultures? Because from a brand perspective, values are the DNA with which people make decisions to say yes or no to things. If you
Yeah.
Right, it's the invisible, indelible foundation, period, right? And if you know your values, then you know what you stand for and you know what you don't stand for, because brands are very, especially personal brands, when people are representing a bigger idea and they're the face of it, they are very magnetic. And that's why I say I love working on magnetic messaging, because magnets only have two charges. It's positive or it's negative. They're for something or they're not for something. They don't waffle. Magnets
Yeah.
don't waffle, brands don't waffle, and people don't either when they know their values. And I think that we are entering a new era of business and just living because of how hyper connected we are with smartphones in our pockets and social media. And we just have so much information that personal and professional, those lines are being blurred. People want to
Yeah.
know, who are you as a person, especially younger generations. My stepdaughter is 19, and if she does not personally align with a musical artist or an actor, she
Yeah.
will not. She's not going to wish them ill, but she's just going to be like, they're not for me. They're not my people.
Oh my God,
Well,
that's
it's
so
that
funny you
voting with
say
your
that.
dollars.
Yes.
The voting with your dollars things that I'm finding myself as I'm getting older, and maybe it is just the current climate around us, but like, yes, if I do not personally align, I have a very, very difficult
It's
time.
like your body is revolting, right?
Yes, I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't do this.
Mhm.
And people are living so much more out loud
Mhm.
often that it is. I mean, it's like this whole Coldplay thing with whatever that business was.
How hilarious, like cosmically, like hilarious, but also not, but also yes, like liberating in how people are reacting and supporting one way or the other. And it's just, you weren't in line with the head of HR is having
Yeah.
an affair with the head of a company. How cliche, how perfect of an
Well,
example that people are holding people accountable to their values, not just how
yeah.
much money do you make, how many awards do you have, how many years have you been in business, you
Yeah, are
know?
you good at this thing? We don't really care. There's probably 15 other people that are also really or 15,000. God only knows. There's other
Yeah.
people that are great at that are living a life that is more in alignment with my values. Like that poor fucking wife. How
Mm.
humiliating.
I
He
mean,
Oh,
I'm
does.
but
glad she found out
her
now.
response was so killer though.
I
Like,
He
a way to
was.
own it.
She hired a good crisis management expert, I gotta say. Like that had PR
Yeah,
written all over it, which I bow down to
good for
you.
her.
Amen. I
Yeah,
would not have been able to
like,
write anything emotionally intelligent in the
I
wake of
salute
that.
you. Respect. That lady is
Right.
the bomb.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it's so interesting you say this, because and this line of blurring between personal and business. And when I talk to my agents who don't want to put anything personal out on social media or whatever, like, we find that they can't connect with people in the same way, or people aren't connecting with them in
They're
the
not
same way.
remembering them. And then if you're forgotten, doesn't matter how talented you are, they're gonna go with
Mm-mm.
somebody more memorable. Not saying
Correct.
the
And
person's more qualified, but they're more memorable.
it doesn't matter if you're good or not. And social media has proved this a million times over. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. And marketing is that basic principle. It's that saying, it doesn't matter if you're better. It's just, are you more relevant? Are you more present? Are you more out there? But this thing about the value systems is so intense. Like, whatever. It's our show. I can say whatever I want. Like, I won't listen to Morgan Wallen. I won't listen to him. I think he's a racist asshole. I will like just not listen to him. I will literally change the song if it comes up on my Spotify. I also don't listen to Drake anymore. Like, why does that matter? I don't know, but I won't, but we have these physical reactions like you're saying. And I think that is so interesting when we go into relationships with people or business relationships with people.
Yeah.
And this is a time and a place in a world where you have to be almost like you have to be on and so true to your brand. That's why and you tell me, because you're the brand architect, like talk about like authenticity in your brand and how important that is or not.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a non-negotiable from a business perspective now. And it was a nice to have / luxury in the past. Now, I define personal brand because there's a lot of definitions out there that are pithy and soundbiteable, but inaccurate. And so the way that I see personal brand is you're a human being who is going to put yourself out there and you stand for a larger ideal, a larger mission, right? I stand for helping everybody realize everything in life is an inside job. And you can be the master of your own fate. You can architect whatever life and business you want, right? That's the larger thing that I stand for that people resonate with. Now, when I articulate it with my own story and my own language and my own quirks and, an astrology reference or two, and with my like Shiba Inu and my ragdoll kitten, like that's where it's like the personal expression gets its like color and flavor, but I still stand for the larger thing. So that's personal brand, an individual standing for something bigger than themselves, but being the face of it. And my definition of authenticity is simply being the same person off camera as you are on camera.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're looking for a simple definition. So how you are at the dinner table, in the carpool line, road raging on 95, like maybe with like less bravado there, but you're the same person. Like when I speak on stage or I do workshops and then somebody meets me, when Sky and I met for coffee a couple weeks ago, I'm largely the same person. I'm not putting on this performance and pretending to be somebody I'm not. And I think that people get trapped in this idea of when you create content online, the camera gets turned on. They feel like they have to be this thing that they're not. And I totally get it. I thought the same thing, but that's a myth. And you're doing yourself such a disservice by trying to be this, showman or showwoman that you're not. Like, just be you. Being you is enough. Self-worth is an inside job also, So I think that the more that you can align your personal values as a human with how you operate in business, the more relevance and the more resonance you're going to have. And you're going to pull people in like gravity that want to work with you, that want to hire you, that want to say your name in rooms when you're not there. But it starts with you and then it's expressed externally in social media and email marketing and your website and your digital, all the other like things that people think are your brand, but aren't. They're just an extension of it.
This is all really pulling me back to the human design. I have a feeling you
I do. I love, yes.
So I'm manifesting generator, and it's like how it was explained to me, Peyton Hughes. If you haven't listened to her episode, you guys go back and listen to Peyton. But it's like, if you're not a hell yes, you're a no. And then also like me just getting excited about the things that I'm excited about attracts that everything to me in the universe, like a magnet, if you would. And like, I have seen that play out time and time again in my life. But again, to go back to ebbs and flows of life, like there are times where it's a lot harder for me to lean into the hell yeses for whatever reason.
We have rhythms.
Yeah. I'm not in the rhythm. And like, it's so apparent with how the universe responds to me. I've made this example a million times, but I used to cold call. My job was to cold call in person to businesses 10 times a day, 5 days a week. I was supposed to make 50 outreach calls. Well, you can't be on like you need to be that often. It just like hormonally, I can't do it. Like energy wise, I can't do it. My aura ring now is telling me if I'm ready or not, like all of those things. And I saw and there was a period where I got sick and I didn't know I was sick yet, but like it was happening and I just wouldn't feel well. And I'd go out and I'd make calls and it was like, no, no, no. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening to my business? How
Right.
come I can do this some days and I can't others? But I just didn't have the energy. I wasn't showing up. I wasn't in alignment at that moment with that. There were other things going on. And it's just so interesting how obvious the universe is with its response to you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can almost know if you're in alignment by how the universe is responding.
And you're just listening to your body too.
Yeah.
Like
Are you leaning in or are
right.
you leaning out?
Right. And like, where are you feeling friction and tension? Like one of the things, when I work with somebody in a coaching capacity instead of like a consultant project-based capacity, is where is their resistance? Where are you sabotaging? Where are you stalling? Why are you stalling? Why are you sabotaging? This is why I say, like, my client successes I'm a small part of that, because all I'm doing is removing the things that are in their way. It's rarely a knowledge gap. With Google and YouTube, you can Google and YouTube your way into figuring out anything in this world. But will you actually take action on it? Do you believe you're worthy of it? Do you think it's possible? Or do you want to just stay in the same safe zone? And our mind is incredible, but it keeps us small sometimes. And I think our body is more intelligent than our mind in saying, like, hey, Cheryl, hey, Colleen, like, this is not, listen to your gut or listen to your heart or listen to your center. The body is more intelligent than the mind in many ways. That is what I have been learning. And just listening to that is so powerful.
And what's so interesting is often as women, we have been told to negate that intuition. Like, you're being too emotional, you're being too this, you're being too
To
gory,
every
you're too
adjective that they would never use to describe a man.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. Like, there's a scenario we're having right now where my husband has been talking to somebody about a new position, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. If this was a thing, it would be a thing. Like, there's just something. And he's just like, I'm just trying to play it out. Like, I'm just trying to, like, play the long game here. And then I think we finally made a decision that, like, this is just not it,
Mm-hmm.
But it was really just me, like, this whole time feeling like, I don't know. And I think so often we're like, we'll just kind of discount that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that those things are, like you're saying, they're so important. And I want to just touch on this, like, authenticity thing. And you talked a little bit about people being on camera, and then you see this so often, and it drives me fucking nuts, to be honest. If you follow an influencer, this has happened a couple times, where you follow an influencer and then you see them in real life. I don't know.
You feel like you got catfished, right?
I feel like I got catfished so many times. And I'm like, bro, what? Like, what? Why are you
what
so
are you
boring?
selling? What are you actually selling? It's an illusion,
I can't even imagine what that life is like. I don't understand. Like, there are some local, like, influencer celebrities that I'll see because we're at similar events, and I'm just like, and I don't understand this, and maybe you can explain, how do they get these massive followings when then, maybe because these people are never meeting them in real life, but I'm like, I'm meeting you in real life and you're a boring ass bitch. Like, what is the deal?
Well, there's good marketing, and then are you actually marketing, authentically? Like, you can be an excellent marketer, but a terrible service person. And I often find, I almost wonder if I should make a graph and put this in a carousel on Instagram, but I often find that the better the service person, they're so focused on service, 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 that they don't focus and build their marketing and branding muscle. And then there are people that focus on branding and marketing, and they're such excellent marketers. But when it comes time to deliver on the promise you made in your marketing, you fall short. And so the service people who are excellent have no marketing opportunity, and the marketers who are excellent can't retain their customers because they suck at service. It's like the inverse thing.
That's where I am right now, is like, I'm so focused on my clients and we're busy and we have all this going on and I'm delivering this service. And then like my Instagram is an afterthought.
Right.
And because you just can't physically do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I'm at this place where I'm trying to figure out, like, what can I offload and still maintain my level of service, my voice in my brand.
Your voice, yes.
it's like this very like interesting seesaw of like how and what can I hand off to still be able to show up in all the places that are important
and not
in the
feel like it's outsourced, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
your voice, especially, I would say voice is probably one of the most underrated elements of brand building because people see, or hear the word brand or personal brand and they think of logo, they think of colors, they think of wardrobe, they think of you are your brand. You're not, you're an expression of something, right? But voice is so powerful because the tone of voice that you use when you're speaking, they've literally done studies about this where tone can evoke emotion in other people, right? You see this
Sure.
with your children or when you're in disagreements with your spouse. I had this expert negotiator. I was sitting in on a webinar, Kwame
Yes.
something. Okay, you know who I'm talking about,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Kwame
Yep.
and Kwame is like, he's like, my wife's probably going to shoot me for saying this, but I'll say it because we are in it together. And that he had this moment where this therapist was talking about how he was reflecting back to Kwame. Kwame's like, I didn't say anything mean. I wasn't yelling. My words were trying to get to the heart of it. And the therapist was like, your tone was yelling.
Yes. I say
So,
that to my husband all the time. He's
right?
like,
It's
what do you,
how you
I'm like,
say something. It's not what you're saying. And people forget what you said, but
yep.
they remember how you make them feel through the tone of your voice that activates emotion. Emotion drives action. Action drives results. That's why brand tone of voice is like the lowest lift. So if you're struggling to know where to start with figuring out your voice descriptors and what that language is, the rest of the stuff is great. But like if I had to pick just one element to focus on to make an impact, it would be voice because that activates the emotion.
I'm really just
Wow.
thinking like voice truly is like if you cut everything else out, voice is how you're making other people feel.
Yeah.
Like that's
And that's brand. Like a brand is this emotional imprint you leave on somebody. It's like living rent free in their head. I don't know which pop star had like sang a song about that, but it's like this song lives rent free in my head, right? Because that activated an emotion and had a specific brand imprint on them. And that's why brand is so powerful in driving business because when you truly reach that level, you're not having to worry about competing in an Instagram feed. You're literally
Right.
in their mind. When they think toothpaste, they think Crest. When they think athletic wear, they think Nike. When they think permanent markers, they think Sharpie.
Yeah.
That's why it's so powerful.
And it's interesting you say that. And I'm like literally taking notes. Do you see I have a
I
pen?
see. Please, I never gatekeep. I give away everything because I know the power of coaching and support. And so I'm unafraid to give it all
Yeah.
away.
Well, and I'm just thinking about like, so I have built this brand and Maverick Grip is my brand. And I built my own kind of like my personal brand. And when you're bringing people into your brand, it is so important when my team goes out into the world, I want them to leave a very specific emotional imprint on
Yeah.
other people, right? Like, but that
You
has
want
to
that
be,
consistency.
you want that consistency. When we talk about like, white glove level service or concierge level service and like
Mhm.
how and it's interesting to be able to teach that to other people in this way to maintain your brand, your this thing that you're keeping, because it's not about my logo, it's not about what we're called, it's about the feeling that these people have when they interact with people on my team. And
Mhm.
um God, that is such a important. I hope everybody wrote that down. Everybody, unless you're driving, write it down. Like your brand is an emotional imprint that you leave on other people. Holy shit, Kat. That's like you
And
should charge for that.
that's actual branding. Like this is and this is why I preach it because I see so many agents fall into this trap of just marketing themselves and then they wonder why people forget about them or they go with another agent or they did a good job, they think that should be enough and it's not. That's the standard, and I'm not saying everybody meets that standard, but it's like to truly brand and to create that feeling. And I love how you said when you introduce somebody to your brand, because I look at the analogy I like to use and why I have brand architect as my company name is because I look at your brand as like a house. You've got the
Mm,
foundation, you've got the framing, the all the different rooms, you've got it decorated. Like the logo would be like the decorations, going to like Crate and
right.
Barrel or West Elm. You've got the curb appeal, right? That can, that's your initial impression. But it's like, is your brand a house where people feel comfortable? Where they'd like actually RSVP to the party? Do they feel like they're at home? Like that's the feeling that we want. And I think, to your point, when working with teams, I'm legitimately working with a team out of the Toronto area right now, and we're crafting this brand, and it's based off of the legacy of the team leader, and she has a team agents who are going to be representing it. And I always tell her, there's like Barbara Corcoran's like 80-20 rule in business. It's the same thing for brand expression, right? And I said, look, 80% of the time, they're going to get it right. They're going to use the brand language. They're going to pitch correctly. They're going to, represent themselves very consistently. And then the other 20% is their personality. They're going to flub a little bit. They're going to riff a little bit. They might take one of the brand phrases and like tweak it a little,
Right.
and that's okay, because you cannot expect robotic consistency from human beings, but that's fine.
Right.
Because the byproduct is that each of those team agents are going to be crafting really beautiful relationships with everybody that they interact. And that is the only way a solo team lead scales anyway.
Yeah.
So you got to let go of the perfectionism a little.
You got to, and let them be themselves. We really subscribe to Clifton Strengths. Like that's something that we really subscribe to. And so, I'm a psycho, and I woke up Saturday morning at like 6:30 in the morning, and I have this one agent that I really want him to succeed. I really want him to do well. All of them I do, but he needs a little, like he's brand new.
He's a duckling. He's duckling status.
He's a little duckling. And he's so earnest and wants it so bad. And so 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday, I'm like in my chat GPT. I'm like, here are the Clifton strengths. Like, here are his Clifton strengths. How can I best support him? Here's what he's presenting with right now. And one of the things it said was like, give him guidelines, but let him make it his own. Give him some freedom to kind of make it his own.
Right.
And so I tried to apply that into like helping him prepare for this open house. And I was like, here are some things that we have to do brand wise for me. Like, and I mean that in like, here's how we run an open house and how I want my team to run an open house. Right.
Right. The steps of service.
The steps of service. Perfect. And here's some examples of things I might say, but then I was like, but make it your own, get into your own rhythm, figure it out. And like, it seemed as though that was very helpful, you know, but it's just like, it's all of these different things, all these different tools. It's using these different tools, but ultimately allowing your team members or people or whatever, when you're trying to build this bigger brand, to be themselves and be authentically themselves
Holly, what I'm hearing is like, you're giving the underlying message that needs to be relayed. Like, it is within our brand to relay this particular message, but the way it gets relayed, that's on you. Make it yours, because part of probably your brand, definitely part of mine, is authenticity. Like we talked about in the beginning. If he dictates what you told him to say, it's going to sound rehearsed. It's going to sound unnatural because it's not natural.
Yeah, I'm a 42-year-old lady and he's like a 44-year-old dude, like it's just we're not the same person.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And that's where having like that team aligned on the goals and the values and the messaging, and then that's the 80% is like, here's the guardrails.
Right. And here's the structure.
Like, you can be wherever you want within that lane. Knock yourself out, kiddo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kat, talk to us about your coaching. Talk to us about like, who are you coaching and what do you like to coach to?
So I have had a lot of different past lives, and I have, like many entrepreneurs, and, from working corporate San Francisco customer service to attending nursing school and then withdrawing from nursing school and moving cross country and launching a construction startup and having a creative agency, like all of my past lives, I've realized that one of my superpowers is being able to reinvent and rebrand myself, because we are human beings designed to evolve, to grow. Pressure is applied to us, and we either rise to the occasion, we meet the moment, or we crumble and we stay in our same, space. And I'm not saying to ever respond from pressure. I always say, one of my coaches has this mantra, pleasure over pressure. So you can feel pressure, but do not make decisions from that place, because it's like making a decision from a place of fear instead of a place of love. And we know what it looks like when you make a decision from a place of fear versus a place of love. As leaders, as mothers, everybody listening in the audience. And so what I really love to coach people through, because I love coaching them through those moments when they are at the precipice of needing to reinvent, when they are at the precipice of needing to rebrand, which, for a definition, a rebrand is essentially you have evolved and the landscape has also evolved to the point where they're no longer in alignment. And it's basically you upgrading yourself to match with where you're at now so you can live in alignment and there's relevance again and resonance. And so I love working with people that are in those transitional moments because it is scary as shit to quit a job, to go full time, to accept becoming a real estate broker, and that your income will look like the stock market instead of like this. And it just goes up 3% year over year, right? It is, I am not a real estate agent. I'm a civilian, but I have such empathy for helping guide agents through that. And when it comes to coaching too, and I recently learned this, there's 3 different levels of coaching. And so the first level is accountability coaching. That's the most common that you see. The, Brian Buffini's and Tom Ferry's of the world do accountability coaching. Did you make your calls? Did you do this? Did you do that? Right. And it's very surface level. It doesn't really make an emotional dent. Right. It helps you grow your business because accountability does support that, but you hit the ceiling. And then the second layer is skills-based. What skills do you need to cultivate? Where are your gaps? And that's where it helps. And I come in as a coach and I'll do an audit. I'll take in the client's personality assessment. I'll look at what their past lives and their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I'll be like, you're really weak here. This is holding you back. This is creating friction from you being able to grow. So let's focus on upskilling you. And then the third layer is transformational. And that's really where you see like Brendan Bouchard, what's his name? Ed Milet, they're very like Phil Grover, like the transformational level coaches that just produce incredible humans. And I'm not there yet. I'm like on my way to being there, but I'm in between accountability and skills. You're not just going to get accountability from me because that's boring. You can pay somebody less to do that. But individuals at major inflection points, that's who I love to coach and how I love to coach, like really at the identity level. Like, what are your skills? What do we need to do? And also, how are you seeing yourself? What are the stories you're telling yourself? What's your brand story inside your head? Does it match actually where you want to go? You say you want to, do $100 million a year in production. Do you really believe that you're capable of that? Do you know what habits you need to instill for that?
Well, how do you coach somebody who's completely delusional?
I usually say no. The people I love to work with, because my brand, like my personal brand, and this is, part of Brand Architect too. I love people to feel emboldened. Like that's the emotion. I want you to feel like you can fuck some shit up and like do some really cool things, right? By yourself, if you're a woman, if you're a person of color, if you were raised in a trailer park and now you have $1 million in the bank, you're like, what do I even deserve this? Who am I? Whatever. I want you to be emboldened to do whatever you want to do, regardless, right? Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. You can, if you'll figure it out. And so, oh my gosh, what was your question? I totally lost.
She described herself as delusional, but what she's describing is actually emboldened.
Emboldened, right?
Yeah.
But the other part of it is I also really thrive working with people, and I see entrepreneurs thrive when where they're extremely humble as well. I want them to be incredibly emboldened to create a solution that doesn't exist yet to a problem that they see, right? That's so cool. But to also be humble and to know that as cool as that is, there's so much they don't know.
Right.
I think it's like toggle between those two. I say be delusional in your vision casting, but practical in your execution.
Okay, that's fair.
That's right. Both. It can be both. It doesn't have to be either or,
Yeah. I love it.
Delusion in your vision casting. We're there, Colleen. We've definitely
amazing. There. That's the hardest part, actually, because to dream big seems simple, but it's not, right?
It's what Colleen and I often are trying to like figure out how to put into words is how come we have this ability to dream so big.
Yeah.
And then also have the belief and the confidence in ourselves to be able to execute on it.
Right.
Yeah.
we're trying to figure out how to put into words how to get there. Sounds like maybe you're also doing that.
Yeah. Well, you reverse engineer, right? Wherever you want to go, it's simply reverse engineering. Who do you need to become? What habits do you need to instill? What skills do you need to adopt? Who do you need to hire? Often I'll start with the who instead of the what, because it's like, who do you know or who do you need to help you get from point A to point B, right? Entrepreneurship, not solopreneurship where you want to like do it all yourself and be a martyr for the cause, but like true entrepreneurship is building something that sustains and scales without you. You basically design yourself to be deleted, like the Hinge app. I love that campaign, by the way.
Oh my God. Yeah. This is so cool that you're saying these things out loud for me. So I hope everybody else experiences this awesomeness also, because I was just talking to this man who is like a financial analyst and blah, blah, blah. But part of his business is that he helps people scale their business so that they can
prepare for exit.
Right. Yeah. And he was like, we have a hard time sometimes with solopreneurs or entrepreneurs who are so emotionally attached to what they've done that they can't let it go. And I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but I'm always just like every 2 or 3 years, I'm like, cool, what's next? What else? Yeah. Like I did this now, like what else can I do? Which is why, I started on a team, and then I was like, no, I'm going to go out on my own. And then I was out on my own, and I'm like, now I'm going to start a team, and now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this thing. But it was really interesting for him to hear, like, there are some people who are so emotionally attached to things. And I am very, like, I love what I'm building. And I think there is emotion to it. Otherwise I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But I definitely think there's a point where I'm like, happy to be like, bye, like,
right.
Thank you for your service, on to the next. But I just don't, like Cheryl was saying, like, I think there's some of us that, like, it's hard to, sometimes you feel like there's something wrong with you, or there's something different about you, because,
you're like the black sheep, right? You're like, why can't I just be content with what I'm doing? I have that thought more often than I would like to admit, but I squash it quickly and just say, like, I am the black sheep of I'm doing things differently. Like one of my girlfriends said that she's like, you're just the person that is going to be changing the narrative for your family.
And what I think it is we're honoring our evolution is what it is.
Ooh, yes. I love that.
As I'm listening to this, it's like, I hope everybody is growing and getting new interests and getting excited about new things. What we're doing is allowing ourselves to step into that when it comes up for us, where I think, and maybe it's we've let go of the fear, like we've walked away from the 9-to-5 paychecks. We've walked away from that already. We've decided that the fear is less scary than not doing it. The fear of letting,
the cost of inaction, right?
Yeah. The cost of inaction is bigger than not, it's just more painful. And I'm always describing this, like, for people, is like, when you get to the right level of pain, you can't stay there anymore. Like, you have to go do this other thing. And I describe it with, like, Emmy. I mean, just to put it into like a more tangible thing. My daughter really wants to go on the big water slides, and we've walked up several times, and we've tried it several times. And I said, you'll know you're ready when you're more uncomfortable not doing it than you are doing it. We'll just keep trying until you get to that level of ready to do that. And like, it's the same with our businesses and like what we're chasing and our goals. Like, you'll know you're ready when it's too uncomfortable to not jump.
Right.
Well, and I think I have also made the decision in my life that I am, like, unwilling to be miserable. I'm just unwilling. I'm unwilling to be miserable. So if something is making me miserable, I'm going to change it. Like, it just is. Like, and I think that that's hard for people. I think there are a lot of people who are willing to be miserable for continuity, or for consistency, or for comfortability. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean? Like, comfort. Whatever. It needed to be ability. Okay. Like a thing.
Right. It needed to rhyme.
There are people who are willing to stay in their miserable job because they get a paycheck. And they're so
or marriage, or team.
Or marriage.
I see this with real estate agents too. Like, it's,
oh my God.
And it's like, look, there's nothing. I'm also working to delete the words right and wrong from my vocabulary because that just boxes me in. Everything is a spectrum. Everything is a scale. I thrive in the gray because that's where the nuance is. And it's just to make blatant statements. And it's like, look, I've said this to my husband. Sometimes I catch myself wishing I would have just been happy with a corporate job, happy with a 9 to 5. I catch myself wishing sometimes. And then I'm like, wait, no, then I wouldn't be me. Life would be more consistent, but would it be exciting? Would it be fulfilling? And I'm glad that one of my past lives was a nursing student because I worked as a CNA, certified nursing assistant, in an assisted living facility, specifically in the memory care unit with dementia and patients with dementia and Alzheimer's. And just seeing the regrets that they had about just the things that they didn't do. They never regretted the things that they did. It was
and this reminds me that inaction is also a choice you're making.
Everything is a choice. Everything's an inside job and everything's a choice. True. Yes. You think you're like bypassing the responsibility of making a decision. Look, whatever happened in your childhood's not your responsibility, but your adulthood is. So nut up or shut up. Like,
yes.
Pardon my language.
No, I think that's the best.
I want to spend like 7 or 8 more years with you. I feel like I've met my soul sister, and I also think we kind of look alike, which I hope you're okay with.
I am absolutely okay with that.
I'm the blue-eyed version, and you're the brown-eyed version.
There we go. I'm a bottle blonde, but don't tell anybody.
Same. What? I mean, I wasn't always. I'm trying to get gray so that I can stop dyeing my hair. Tell us, where can people find you? How can we work with you? What does it look like?
In true millennial fashion, love to hang out on Instagram. So I'm at Kat Torre XO. If you are, looking for more of my like high level, like team building, organizational content, you can find me on LinkedIn, but I definitely love Instagram. And I have a lot of free playbooks on my website. So please download all of them, actually use them. I have email sequences in place to ensure that you actually do and that it doesn't just sit on your desktop collecting dust. And I will be coming out with a messaging course, a voice course, in just a couple weeks called Say Less. So I think you can get on the wait list for that somewhere on my website. So
what's your website?
It's kattorre.com.
Perfect. Amazing. Yep. I'm serious. Come back. Can we spend 7 or 8 more years together? I think I just met my soul sister.
Yes.
I know.
It's a full body yes. I don't do obligatory energy. So I say yes.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Kat. I mean, you're fucking amazing. So I am just obsessed with you and everything that you're doing. So we will get you back. So hope you like us. And
I'm here. Take me, ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for everything. I mean, I think people need to listen to this episode a few times and with a pen, write down those things. Yeah. And you dropped so many nuggets for us that are amazing. So thank you so much for being here.
Truly. Sorry, this wasn't a 2-parter, everybody. I have a
2-parter TBD.
I know. Yes. Second part TBD. All right. Catch you guys next time. Bye. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on this journey of laughter, life, and growth.
And remember, you're not alone on this path to success. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's conversation, we'd be thrilled if you would leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to us.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a good laugh and some practical insight into navigating the challenges and triumphs of our minds, body, soul, and business.
Remember, we're doing this right.